Gotta set the vibes now.
And you say Shot City,
Gotta set the vibes, you know.
Shot City, Shot City.
Coming home again. It's homecoming week.
Yeah.
Think about me now and then. Look at him. There you go. Coming home.
We're back.
We're back.
Back like we never left.
Bad boy. Take that. Pause.
Take that.
Oh, man, that's a nice shirt you got on over there, man.
Yeah, I wanted to be sure that everybody could see it. I know my marquee name here is a little long, so I didn't want anyone to be confused with who we're repping today.
You know, shout out to you. You know,
the illustrious Spelman College. Hey, you know, they say go ahead.
I was gonna say emphasis on the lust.
You know, Lee, they say that you can't. You can tell a Morehouse man, but you can't tell him much, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, there's nothing you can tell a Spelmanite. Absolutely nothing. They run the world. They tell us what to do. We are the ones that you can tell much to. It's them that tells it to us.
I mean, yeah, especially if you let them tell it.
Hey, look, there's plenty of guys that wear maroon that will let them tell it. You know, they agree with me 100%. You know,
I mean, they're number one for a reason every year, right?
They're like King James. And I know we'll touch him a little bit. Ooh, wow, that was wild. Yeah, go ahead.
You Kung Fu Kenny.
What about him referring to women as bitches? I thought that was crazy.
You know, I think he's just trying to show the world how he talks around people, that he's a human. I think he's tired of being
with his wife there.
Yeah, I think he talks about women like that in front of his wife.
I mean, they've known each other since what? He was 16.
Yeah,
15, however old.
I'm sure they've had conversations about some of these B words that he was talking about.
Well, they almost would have had to. I feel like LeBron just doesn't care anymore because he's like the beginning of that Little B song, Bill Clinton. He said, "I'm retired, nigga. I already ran the world." He's already done it. It's not really anything else he can do anymore. He can't make his resume any better unless he finishes off winning 2 straight championships.
Yeah.
He can't add to his legacy anymore.
No, and he's made so much money and he's so profitable that him talking like that doesn't affect his brand anymore.
Well, because what are you gonna do? Say, LeBron, we don't condone that.
Okay. You know, I can always go independent, right?
Or I could go at your competitor and we could just squish you.
Or, you know, I can offer like some of my empire to like another major organization and let them buy in. So now I don't even have to foot a lot of the cost. Come on now.
But that is enough about Bron. We will touch that a little bit more and come basketball. How are we doing today, Lee?
Oh man, not too bad. You know, I'm still riding a high from Monday night. Had a great episode of The Village Vets last night. Shout out to our guest.
I watched it, by the way, and I meant to tell you this in pre-production. It was honestly the best Village Vets I think you guys have done. I watched the entire thing.
Oh, did you?
I swear, I did.
Thanks, man. But yeah, I felt like it was a good show. It was some good chemistry, good synergy. And honestly, shout out to Big T. I wanted her to like co-host.
Yeah, why was she showing herself?
No. That was off camera.
Yeah. I was off camera because she seemed like to be the funnier of the two.
She said she don't do cameras.
But then, like your camera, like how it does that thing, it kind of did show her. Like I did kind of see her at one point, but you know.
Yeah, I thought they brought a great vibe to the show. Yeah. I can't talk about future plans because I haven't talked to anybody else about them. So you know, this is public.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
How about you? What's up with you?
Oh, not a whole lot. Prepping this week, obviously. We've got a Holsey in the house that will be here, so kind of just getting everything prepped for that. I got my daughter obviously this entire week because they're on something called fall break, which I know we had kind of discussed and how he had said I don't remember ever fucking having a fall break because we didn't.
No.
But that's school in 2025. It's that there's what do they call it? Like stay at home learning days. I forgot what the exact term is, but yeah. So they just have all this kind of wild stuff. Like they gave me a laptop. Like I have a APS issued laptop sitting in here right now. It's actually really cool because it's like touchscreen on the screen, but then it's like still like a laptop. I thought it was pretty dope. Now, obviously, they're gonna build the shit out of me if it goes missing. But they gave it to us for this break. So, been kind of just with her, which I enjoy. I don't ever take that stuff for granted. She has a ball with me.
I just think you're concerned about spending tax dollars and your child just not being at the place that the tax dollars go to.
Well, that and then they wanted to charge me extra in order for her to come to school for the week, and I was like, no, because then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of it being a break too. If it's going to be a break, why am I sending her back to school, and then why are you charging me $400 and something for her to be there for the week? Like, why would I pay that? Like,
Are we not earmarking enough money for education in our budget? Probably not. But I'm supposed to get off from work. Like we have this system where our kids have to go to school and they have to be in school during these certain hours. And we have to work during hours that don't really align with their schooling hours. But we still got to work because it's expensive to live in America.
And they know this. You know what I mean? Everybody knows this. And you already have to pay for the after school care, right? Like that 2 to 3 hours after school in order to be able to get through traffic, make a little extra money, whatever it is. Or if you're scheduled, like for me, obviously I don't necessarily report to anybody, but like at the same time, there are still just a lot of shit that I got to get done in the middle of a day. Like, and so
I'll be sure to let the president of the company know that you said publicly that you don't report to anybody.
Go ahead.
We'll see if you'll be reporting to anybody after that.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so just been doing that. And of course, just like you, elated by what we saw on Monday night. Talk about defense, Bijan. And Penix. And Drake London. I mean, I love to see the main guys be the main guys. Now, I wish that there was somebody else that could catch the ball.
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're going to run the... Hey, I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out football. Trying to get something going. I got you.
How about him being 4-1 right now?
Hey, man, they're going to win that division.
They are. And they might wrap it up right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
seriously. If they beat Cincinnati this week, and I don't know, Baltimore's on bye, but you never know.
Yeah.
They could wrap this thing up really quickly.
Well, let's talk about our Falcons, man. We talked about this game last week, and we were concerned, not because we didn't believe in the Falcons, obviously, because you gave out the Falcons on the money line, but because the Bills lost a game to the Patriots, which we were concerned because we were worried about a focused, pissed off Bills team showing up. But I think we should have more so taken that as, oh, shit, these guys are sweet and they're ripe for the taking. And we have better skill players than the Patriots. we have a equal to or better quarterback than the Patriots.
They've got a better coach, but
Coach, I think we have a better defense than the Patriots. Statistically, we do. Oh no, we should beat these guys.
yeah,
And what we did was we beat them in a way that didn't make it fluky. Yes, there were multiple turnovers, but hey, we forced those turnovers. But we were up all game and kept the lead.
yeah, we never trailed, and that to me is dominance when you never trail in a game and you win. And so, big shout outs to Jeff Ulbrich, and I owe him an apology, and not because I didn't think that he was a good defensive coordinator, but it was the idea once again with a guy like Ra and him coming back and saying we've already seen this, because we had already seen it, and I thought that they made strides after DQ was fired because there was only one way to go. The only way to go was up, but at the same time, we had seen it before, and if we didn't like it then, why do we like it 4 years later? What makes us think that something? And I know it's different players in the building, but like, why? I see why now. Jeff Ulbrich, you have my respect. I at this point, I just believe the Jets are cursed. Anything that touches MetLife Stadium that's gangrene, it basically is gangrene. It fucks you up. You know what I mean? It's gonna eat into you, because that's exactly what's happened. Any and everybody that moves away from the Jets, they look great. Aaron Rodgers looks great. Ulbrich looks great. You know,
Shit.
you bring in Aaron Glenn, who looked like a mastermind. He was tailing that Detroit defense. When healthy, was one of the best units in football. Then even when they weren't healthy, they were still getting the job done. Now he goes there and he looks incompetent.
Yeah. But you know what? You know one thing that I think was different about Brick and Ra running it back is the experiences, right? Ra got to go see how McVay's running his program over there. Brick got to go see solid run a program. He got to go see himself try to run a program and see the differences. And I think you become a better defensive coordinator when you've been that interim head coach and you see the other things that the head coach is focused on, and you know how you can better support him. I was listening to Chris Long's podcast, and
You're a big fan of that podcast.
yeah. No, because it is one of the national podcasts that isn't trying to oral farm. They're breaking down football, and you have a bunch of linemen on there. So there's a lot of trench talk and stuff that you're just never going to get on a mainstream show that helps you better understand football. Like I become a smarter on football listening to Chris Long. It's not always about being entertained, you know?
Yeah. Even though he went to Magic City and got himself some chicken wings not too long ago.
They do some funny shit. But you know, they talked about Ulbrich versus Josh Allen. Josh Allen has played his worst games against Jeff Ulbrich's defenses. So
yeah, they didn't look too good in that primetime game against the Jets last year. They ended up winning, but
I mean, because dog, what in the second half, I think we had a 71% blitz rate.
Yeah,
and you're not supposed to do that to MVP quarterbacks, unless you trust your secondary.
Yeah.
I don't know, dog. Seeing the Falcons pass rush and then having DBs make big plays throughout the game, I'm just not used to this as a Falcons fan. So it's so difficult to analyze this at times because you know what you're seeing, but it's just not what you're used to seeing. Like, this is winning football that travels. This is a better brand of championship football than our 28-3 team had, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a better team. I'm saying the style of football that we're playing and the way that we are succeeding, it's a better style. It's a more sustainable form of football to win championships.
It is. I want to see a little bit more offensively, personally.
Okay.
And I think that's just because, again, I know Mooney, I think Ray didn't play. Like, I know that there's been some health issues with the receiving core. Kyle Pitts was kind of a no-show in that game. Obviously, but he didn't have to be because Drake London put the fucking team on his back. Bijan Robinson put the fucking team on his back. Like, so these guys are doing what they need to do and plus some. But I would like to just see a little bit more ball distribution. Tyler Algier had the big touchdown run to kind of start the game too, putting the fucking team on his back. And like, so I want to see more out of the offense because I feel like they're just getting the tip of the iceberg with the offense. I don't think we've seen the best that offense can play. The defense to me they're cooking. They're cooking right now, though.
Do you think that we haven't unlocked some of the offense because of how well the defense is playing? And say, for instance, in the Monday night game, it's, hey, Zach, we're going to stay aggressive, but they're not moving the ball. They're not doing anything. Don't get fancy and lose the game and let us play defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, we may be getting tight, but doing it for the right reasons. Like, not actually getting tight. Let's just take the air out of the game.
Yeah, Zach, we need to, at a minimum, get that ball past the 40. If we get it past the 40, we're going to control the field.
And the longer it takes to get there, we're good.
And even with that, if they're starting, inside their 20, they're going to have to drive the field on us. We're being much more physical. They're banged up anyways. We've got the juice of the crowd on our side, singing out, "We ready for y'all." Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
No, I mean, but hearing it, like, watching
after they cut the music off, right? And it's, it feels like it could be something that gets started to where we do this now at the end of a lot of games. I'd love for that to kind of it doesn't have to be a tradition, but like
it kind of is though.
Yeah.
Like last year we did it damn near every game in that little segment in the fourth quarter. In the games that mattered, when the games stopped mattering, you know how our fan base is.
Yeah. Well, it'll be like that Colts game on like Christmas Eve. You remember that one?
Golly, that's one of the worst games I've ever gone to.
Yeah.
That was one that I took Cindy and Lo to. I was like, this would be a perfect game for us to go to.
Holiday.
No one's.
Hey, light traffic game means nothing. We should win. Probably win.
God, there was just no environment at all. It's one of those games that you don't even you give those tickets away.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Merry Christmas, man. Take your son to a game.
Yeah, come out here and see. Because who started at quarterback? Was it Scott Tolzien?
It's something we didn't want to see. It was bad.
Yeah. I know it was Anthony Richardson.
Hey, but let's get back. With this statement win by the Falcons on national TV, although we did have the B team, and more so the breakout performances by Bijan and Drake London, do you think this puts the Falcons in a different light in the national media? And more importantly, does it put our star skill players who we know deserve more attention? Bijan's obviously been getting a lot more this year. Does this start to get them seen properly amongst their peers?
So I believe so. It still felt like the national media wanted to cover more of what's wrong with the Bills as opposed to look at the Falcons. There were a couple of people that did do it though, like
Chris Long.
Chris Sims. Chris Sims came out and was like, hey, the Falcons are legit. Like, we need to start talking about this. They've got the number 2 total offense and the number 1 total defense. I saw Dan Patrick. He had spoke a little bit about it too. Florio, obviously. So it was good to see something.
McAfee and the guys they did are the Falcons legit.
Yeah, and even with Rich Eisen, the guy Chris, the bald headed dude Brockman, he brought it up on his overreaction Mondays on a Tuesday, and they said, is Bijan Robinson the offensive player of the year? And, Rich is like, that's not an overreaction at all, which I think at this point, and maybe we can look up real quick on Vegas what they've got. I'd have to imagine he's got to be the favorite, right?
He may not be the favorite yet.
Because think about it, the OPOY is basically the non-quarterback player of the year award. Because who's having and look, I know Christian McCaffrey's having a great year too, but like, who's having a better season than him?
Puka was before he got hurt. Didn't he get hurt last week?
Yeah.
Look up the odds, man. You're a gambling guy.
JSN is having a hell of a year too, but hell, Puka. I feel like a lot of people, not just rookie of the year, that he could have.
I mean, yeah,
he's gonna be threatening for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then that hammy thing happened.
I know. It's tough for some guys.
Fuck off.
Don't be mad at me, man. All right, we got it up. This is according to Vegas Insider. Wow, Bijan's second.
Who's first?
John Taylor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But JT doesn't have the yards. He's just scoring a lot of touchdowns.
He's scoring the touchdowns. The media likes that redemption story of Daniel Jones, comeback player of the year. The Colts are number one in the AFC.
Shane Steichen probably has the inside track for coach of the year, too.
Exactly. Because you got to remember the narrative side of it, too, and what sells.
This is how they have it. So John Taylor's first at plus 125. Bijan's second at plus 350. I think that's worth sprinkling on. JSN is third. He's plus 450. Then Puka is fourth, plus 600, which he dropped, I have to imagine, because of the injury.
Yep.
Then McCaffrey's fifth. So basically the guys that we brought up are, except I guess John Taylor just kind of goes over your head a little bit. Like, it makes sense.
No, because think about it, though. We don't get indie games. We don't get indie games on our television very often. And because we're not a national show anymore, we're not in a rush to go watch an indie game.
That and then we kind of, our news on him is, if it's not, the highlight show on Fox or something after our game or whatever, then it's us looking on fantasy and saying, damn, why does Nico have so many points? And then you're like, oh shit. It's because Jonathan Taylor had 120 yards total and he had 3 rushing touchdowns and he had 6 catches.
But hey, while we're here, it's been one of those first takey conversations. Is Bijan Robinson the best non-quarterback in the NFL now?
I mean, I think that follows up with the OPOY question. Yeah, I think so far this year. They put out the statistic in terms of yards from scrimmage through 5 games. He's third on the list in that. Only Christian McCaffrey and O.J. Simpson have had more yards. And I think maybe Jim Brown might have been somebody else that was on that list too. But, I mean, look at that that's elite company to be in. Because Christian McCaffrey, I know we've talked about how Derrick Henry might be the last Hall of Fame running back. The reality of the situation is that Christian McCaffrey could make the Hall of Fame too.
Yes.
I think so. I think he could. But I think he needs at least 3 more years though, of really good production. But I think he would get in. I think he gets. He's a Hall of Fame talent, no doubt.
You may call me a hypocrite for this though. I think he should get in. I think we have to reevaluate what the running back numbers are. Just like for receivers and quarterbacks, we're gonna have to bump some of these numbers up to be like look at the stats. Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I think you got to drop them some for the running backs. And when you start thinking about who tells the story of running backs of this era, it's your Derrick Henrys, it's your Christian McCaffreys. These are the guys who should be in the Hall of Fame. Anyways,
Right.
Sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to
You
throw
did.
it in there.
Bark.
Yeah, Saquon, if he can be healthy for a couple more seasons.
Yeah.
So you think you're not taking my bait on this little Saquon being the best, not Saquon, on Bijan being the best running back. But let me see if you can take this bait here. Now we're 6 weeks through into the season, and we had Drake May have great showings the last couple of weeks. We got Michael Penix looking good, winning a big game in prime time. We had Caleb Williams lead a game-winning drive against Jaden Daniels against the number 1 and number 2 picks.
3 in a row, by the way, for the Bears.
Yeah,
after an 0-2 start.
Yeah, so we've got these quarterbacks playing well. You got Bo Nix out there doing his thing for Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, and obviously JJ McCarthy. He's on the rack, still hurt. Who's leading? Who's top of the leaderboard of the 2024 quarterback rankings?
It's nobody on the top of the board, Lee, and it's not even a trick question. This is just a straightforward answer. There is no answer. There's not yet, at least. It's to be determined. You know what I mean? That's the answer. The reality of the situation is this. None of these guys have played enough football. Certainly, if you want to go based on what we've seen, you're going to say Jaden Daniels because he went to the NFC Championship last year and won Rookie of the Year. So, that would be the answer, right? But that's not the right answer either because, again, RG3, he won Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah.
He won Rookie of the Year, went to the playoffs. Now, granted, he got hurt, so I guess that's what makes it just a little different. But, he wins Rookie of the Year. He sets the league on fire. Never plays again. Never plays like that ever again, right?
Yeah.
And people were really like, man, I don't know if the Colts – and Andrew Luck had a good rookie year, but, still people were like, I don't know. RG3 might be better than Andrew Luck.
Hey, the best quarterback out of the class ended up being Russell Wilson.
Even crazier, right? Right. And all three of them make it their rookie year.
Yeah.
But, we just got to stop with this microwave society that we got going. And everybody just wants answers now. They want to be able to say something now, make a proclamation. Everybody wants to be right. You know what I mean? We don't ever want anything to stew anymore and just enjoy what we're saying, that these young guys are getting off the good starts because we are kind of used to saying, certainly, it seems like there's the young guys, right, that are now that you want to see. And then there's the guys that were written off, your Geno Smiths, Geno, I mean, we can write him off again, I guess now, but your Genos, your Sam Darnolds, your Baker Mayfields, these guys that kind of got written off early in their careers, and now they're the redemption stories. Now they're kind of the blueprint. Mac Jones right now, with what he's been doing in San Francisco, another guy that might get another chance next year because he went through that football factory in San Francisco that we'll get to later because, we're going to be getting to them later on a Sunday night football game. But
think about this, Parlay Pete. And I think it affects everything.
Yeah.
So you have a microwave media who's just trying to generate stories.
Yeah.
Those stories then get back into organizations, which now people are talking about it. The fans are talking about it. The media is talking, so we have to care about it. So now if you don't have a solid infrastructure where you have buy-in from your fan base, you have buy-in throughout your building, this now creates problems inside the building. So instead of giving a coach his full 5 years on the contract to build a team, after year 3, if we don't like what we see, he's fired. We got Terry Glenn, 0-6, and we're talking about, is he on the hot seat? Dog, he's 6 games through year 1. I understand he doesn't have a win. It's the Jets. They suck. Justin Fields is the starting quarterback. He hasn't won a game as a starter when the opposing team scores 21 points ever in his career. Give Terry Glenn a chance to build a culture, to develop some players, to bring in the people he wants, he needs, And so we have all of this microwave stuff, and we have people calling for jobs. We have people saying, oh, if the Ravens don't have if the Ravens don't figure it out this year, do we fire Harbaugh? Maybe. I mean, he's been there for a long time. Maybe we fire Harbaugh. I don't know. I don't know if them underachieving this year is the reason to fire him. Players are hurt. Oh, should we fire Sean McDermott? Maybe we should. I don't know. but he's a top 10 coach in the league. He's been running a top 5 organization over the last 8 years or so.
Who had been irrelevant for
Ever.
like 2 decades.
Should we find Mike Tomlin should he be on the hot seat? I saw something that put Jim Harbaugh on the hot seat a week ago. Like, what are we doing? Like, can we just take everything out of the microwave? It takes time to build a culture. It takes time to build a program. You got to hire the right people. You got to have the right people in the right positions. You have to have your salary cap right so that you can bring in the right players at the right price to build the culture. You're going to get some people in there. They're not going to work. You're going to have
people want Stofers, right? When you buy Stofers, it isn't good, but when you buy Stofers, there's 2 sets of directions on the bag. Microwave this, oven that. People don't want the quality of Stofers, the best served, the way that it's best served. They don't want it that way. They want it now because they're hungry now. And that's the reason they didn't go to McDonald's and get that Big Mac. Right? Because they wanted to save. They wanted to save and go to the grocery store. So they want it now. They're going to put it in the microwave. They don't give a fuck if it's going to mess up the quality of what it is that they ended up ordering or not. They don't want that. They want it now. They don't want it the way it's supposed to be. Which is why if you let it sit in the oven, it cooks longer, and we get to see what the finished product really is.
But Parlay Pete, you're right. But here's what they don't understand. Building a football program, building a business, building an album, whatever it is that you want somebody to build, yes, it's the 3 cheese penne pasta. But it's not the Stofers in the microwave. That's not the best product.
Yeah.
It's really getting the fresh cheese, finding the right noodles. And, some people might make their noodles. Some people might buy their noodles. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people might make their sauce. Some of us actually are going to might buy sauce, right?
Yeah.
And when you make the sauce, some people may go all fresh to make their stuff. Some people may use some canned stuff to make their sauce, right?
Yeah.
Some people may use some frozen
Prego.
meat. Some people may get fresh meat. Some people may get it from Food Line. Others may go to Publix or to the butcher shop, right? There's different ways to make it. But I promise you, you want to have a process that you can duplicate time in and time out that takes a bit more time so that you have a longer lasting product, something that is a higher quality. But if we keep trying to microwave everything, and I blame the media. It starts with the ad companies and the media. And the leagues aren't going to reject it because the media deals makes them more money than anything else that they do.
Correct.
But the leagues fall victim, for one, to their own greed, but also to these media companies and the way that they generate ads. And I support that structure to some degree. Okay, pay me. But you get all of this that creates disorder in the industry, and it creates crazy expectations. Like, people really out here like, free Garrett Wilson. I mean, maybe, but like, what the fuck has Garrett Wilson done to deserve to be free? He just got a brand new coach that's trying to turn around the organization.
And they paid him an ass ton of money.
Yeah, like give him some time. Oh, should we move off of CJ Stroud? Because he hadn't looked good since that shit with Caleb. Have you looked at his offensive line? Have you looked at his receiving core injuries? Have you looked at Baker Mayfield? Maybe if a guy shows you some potential, you keep working with him and you learn that person instead of starting over.
He got a new offensive coordinator too this year.
Yeah. Can they get some time to build some chemistry? Like Philly.
He lost 2 of his top 3 receivers from last year as well.
Philly, people are like, does Philly need to get a new offensive coordinator? The answer might be yes. But this guy just started calling plays, and they are a Super Bowl team, and the offensive line isn't as good as it once was, which means they can't run the ball the way that they did to set up the passing game that they used last year. So now they're having to figure out how to build chemistry with each other while also being the guy who has the least amount of clout in the fucking room. And patch up these issues that you didn't expect when you were building the offense in the offseason? Can we get a man some time? Again, Philly's 4-2. I know we don't like what we see, and I wouldn't put him at the top of my power rankings. But don't you think Philly still has a chance to contend for a Super Bowl if they figure it out, right?
Yeah, they're still talented enough to do that. And we saw last year they got off to a slow start to a degree. They were 2-2 to start last year. And then they ended up not losing but one more game in the regular season, which was a game where Mariota started. Washington really needed to win that game. It was like a lot of stuff. That was the only game that they lost. And so, you know, I think that it gets back to this microwave society. Everybody wants everything now, and we got a whole season to play. I mean, think about it. We're what? Technically now, this would be about a third of the way through the year, which is crazy that football is already, we're kind of burning through these weeks. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. And we know that that's when football season starts, right? Yeah. Right about Thanksgiving, we're going to know who's legitimate, who's not, who's potentially going to sell off some pieces. Because when's that trade deadline?
Week 8.
So shit. Well, we're about 2 weeks away from that. But not as relevant as the NBA trade deadline. But even though in recent years, the NFL trade line has been a lot busier. So it just takes time. It takes time. We don't even know truly what the Falcons are just yet. I think we know what our identity is, which is the plus. We know what our identity is. We play a brand of football now. We're not just a team with players. We actually have an identity. So these are the things that we can talk about. And everybody, it's not an overreaction to this is the team. This is how the team is going to work. Now, the real question is, how much higher can that team go, right? And this Sunday, I think that we're going to get a lot of questions answered with that. 49ers will probably be healthy. We still don't know if Brock Purdy's going to play, but it sounds like Kittle's going to be back. It sounds like Pearsall's going to be back. It sounds like Juan Jennings. I think Juan Jennings was back this week, but like he'll be a week healthier.
They're not happy with him apparently.
Well, maybe they ship him out to the Giants. I know that was the talk, right? Him for Thibodeau.
I just know they weren't happy with him because
he wants a contract. He wants to get paid like decent money. And I don't know why, but like.
And apparently he has cracked ribs or broken ribs and a high ankle sprain and a low ankle sprain. And Trent Williams was like, we all dealing with injuries.
Yeah, and that's why it'll be right for the taking for us to go in there and give Kyle Shanahan everything that Atlanta owes him. You know?
Yeah.
But it'll also be a good test for this team. You're coming off the high of winning a game on Monday night, so it's a short week technically. You're going against a well-coached football team on the road, and this game is going to have implications later on in the season, whether that be for wild card seeding or potentially division seeding. We don't know. But this game is going to have some impact on that, and you do need to get this one done. But you win this game, and I'm not trying to look ahead or anything, but you kind of start fucking coasting after this game. You get the Dolphins. That is a team that you should absolutely beat at home. New England looks like a much better matchup, but I still think we're more talented than them. Like, I think that we're better than them. You get Carolina again. You know what I mean? So you get to exercise demons on a team that you had no business losing to begin with.
That's good.
Yeah, and then you get the Jets. Like, these are the games that are coming up. So if you can get off to a 4-2 start here, now obviously we started 6-3 last year, and it kind of didn't mean anything. But like, you can get off to this start here. This team is different from the team last year because we don't have to deal with a Kirk Cousins shoulder and Achilles injury, you know?
Yeah.
And you got Albrecht on the defense. You got potentially maybe the defensive rookie of the year.
Xavier Watts?
Yeah, man.
I mean, he's making plays.
Look, Jesse Bates came out and said it's starting to get to the point now where he said that they're going to have to start worrying about him more than me. Like, they're going to target me more and avoid him. He said that out of his own mouth.
I like that. Please, please attack Jesse Bates.
Yeah, and Billy Bowman shutting down all that slot shit, man.
And D. Alford.
Yeah, D. Alford's been playing well. I mean,
AJ Terrell's playing well. You know what? I can't talk bad about my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Number one rated defense in the NFL. And you've got him on your fantasy team, don't you?
I use them from time to time.
Okay. Just they're a stash defense for you because you're not going to drop them.
We had a busy week last week. What else stuck out from you last week? The Chiefs they had a nice showing on Sunday Night Football. It was just prime Chris Collinsworth. He was definitely in his bag, deep in his bag. I couldn't be more impressed with how deep Chris was able to get into his bag calling that game on Sunday night. But Parlay Pete, the Chiefs have won back-to-back weeks. They're a 500 football team. They were at the top of the herd hierarchy this week via the herd with Colin Cowherd. Are the Chiefs back, man?
Again, you're trying to bait me here. They never left in reality. Let's just keep it real. They didn't leave to be back. But at the same time, like Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are. They're still a 500 football team. They shouldn't be number one on anyone's power ranking, regardless of who they have at quarterback, right? Who they have at head coach. Doesn't matter to me. Now, it's interesting because Rashee Rice does come back this week.
Yep.
And by all indications, based on what the reports are saying, they're not going to ease him in slow. They're saying, no, he's going to be full speed. And actually, we might overuse him. So I know Rashee Rice fantasy football owners out here are just thanking the heavens because he does need it. That's something that they're lacking. They're just lacking a consistent wide receiver option for Pat. That and then they can't run the ball. I mean, that's the biggest thing to me. Chiefs can't run the ball. Like Patrick Mahomes still leads them in rushing. Like they can't run the ball. So in short, they never left, but the reality, so that's why they're not back, because they never left. But at the same time, they've got a lot of holes still on that team, and they still play a first-place schedule. They're 3-3. They still got to play Denver twice. You know what I mean? Denver is not about to be this team that people are just about to roll over. We are ranked number one total defense, but that's the number one defense in the NFL. It's them.
Yeah.
So, the Chargers still have that win over them already too. And yeah, I don't know if they're back. I mean, impressive win for sure over the Lions, but that win over the Ravens doesn't look as impressive anymore.
It's not impressive at all.
They get the Raiders this week, so that should be easy work. But they've been known to play them harder than anyone. Now, granted, that was with Antonio Pierce in the building, and he's no longer there. But I'm sure Pete will have something to say, right?
You tell me, Pete.
I don't know. Carol, that is,
Yeah.
I will have something to say on that game a little later. And if you stick around, you'll get to hear about it. But
I just think they, like you said, they never left. We don't know anything. How about this? Let's evaluate teams in like 6-game quadrants. They play 17 games, so 6, 6, 5. They get you. That kind of tells you who somebody is. Ups and downs, highs and lows, matchups, what these teams were when they're trying to figure it out. I don't think we should just make week-to-week assumptions, which is why we don't do rankings on this fucking show.
Exactly. And there's only 2 teams to me that don't have incomplete grades, as far as I'm concerned, if we were going to even do that. The only 2 teams to me that don't have the incomplete grades are the Colts and the Bucks, because the Colts get an A for what they've done. They have turned into a team that nobody can overlook. And you shouldn't overlook any team in the NFL, but that is a team, especially this week, they get the Chargers. If they can go back to L.A. and right the score for dropping that game against the Rams, because think about it, they're an A.D. Mitchell drop ball and a Jonathan Taylor had a big run at the end where there was there are 2 costly just mistakes by the team away from really being undefeated right now. Yeah. And the Chargers don't really have fans. I don't know how truly big the Colts fan base is. I don't think there's a lot of hicks from well, look, that's what Larry Bird called himself, right? The French Lick Hick or something from French Lick. I don't know if there's a lot of them that live out in the LA area or how well the Colts really travel, but that's an easy place to take over a stadium. Which, real quick thing, I am so proud of the Falcons too for not allowing the Bills to take over that stadium. Based on the national broadcast, yeah, there were Bills fans there, of course, because they do travel, but it didn't look like they took over that stadium to me.
Hey, real quick though, you're talking about Tampa not having an incomplete grade. I still think part of Tampa is incomplete because they've won all of these one-score games, which is great.
They're doing what Kansas City did last year.
Yes, but that also speaks to a team whose the difference between them and their competition and their actual record throughout the season may be a little bit different. And that's a team that could be upset early in the playoffs. And people go, how did this team with all these wins lose in the first round or lose in the second round? It's because they played everybody tight and the breaks didn't go their way this game.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess what makes it to why I don't have them as incomplete is because they're doing it and they're not, their team isn't even complete and they're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this better than anyone because, you drafted the Bucs offense essentially. No Bucky Irving the last 2 weeks. No Mike Evans the last 3 weeks. Ibuka goes down. Godwin came in for one game basically, and then he was done. I'm impressed with what they're doing because it's next man up. No, Tristan Wirfs missed a lot of games already started the year. Their best offensive lineman, and they're still holding it together. And they played against what I would consider good teams, right? I think we're a good team. I think Seattle is a good team. I think San Francisco is a good team. They've beaten some pretty good teams.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I think they are a really good team. I think they're a top team in the league right now.
And their only loss is to Philly, who's another good team.
Yeah. Parlay Pete, it really, you hate to see what's happening down there in Tampa as a fantasy owner simply because you knew you drafted the right talent. The strategy was spot on.
Yeah.
But the things you can't predict can just wipe out a season.
Well, speak for yourself. I think that you are the only person that doesn't like what's going on in Tampa. I like it from both angles, as a Falcons fan and as a fantasy owner. It's unfortunate, that the West Division is just a gauntlet of teams. But, when you're on the tails of a guy, that's good news.
What else from week 6 you want to talk about?
So another game that really stood out to me, and I had to pull it up. It was, of course, it was earlier in the week, was the Giants kind of stuffing the Eagles the way that they did. Jackson Dart looked really good. Cam Scatterbull looked really good. I mean, remember, they're doing this without Malik Neighbors and Slayton, who basically was wide receiver too. So the top two receiving options don't play. Lil Jordan Humphreys is out here looking like Randy Moss against an Eagles secondary that's got a lot of guys that they got last year that are in their second year that overachieved, I think, as rookies for that team, which is why it propels them to win a Super Bowl. It looked like to me, and another thing that I took away from that game, just real quick, when Russ came in to take those snaps, it is amazing just how, you almost feel bad for Russ because it's such a shame to see what the first day I gained respect for him was when the Falcons beat them in the playoffs his rookie year. Because I kind of thought he was kind of overrated. The Hail Mary game, it's like a lot of stuff at you. And I was like, man, that motherfucker can ball. And he continued to do so for 10 straight years. And just to see it go from that to, people sucking their teeth and fucking booing as soon as he steps on the field. He throws one incomplete pass and the Boo Birds just let him have it. And it's just like you can see it in his eyes. It's like,
A-Ball's running into the tent.
Yeah. Well, half the fucking organization is down there. Like, yo, can we get him out here right now? It's like at that point, Dave, I'll just put Jameis in. Damn. Just put Jameis in. Don't do this to Russ. Russ, I don't think you can play yourself out of the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion, because what he's accomplished is what he's accomplished. They want to make it seem like Russ has just absolutely nothing in the tank. And maybe he does. I mean, shit, he threw a 400-yard game earlier in the year in a shootout with Dallas.
He was skipping rocks Thursday on against Philly, though.
That's true, man. I mean, it was one pass.
Shit was terrible.
It was, because nobody was there. But it's like, I mean, he got brought in. It was like a 3rd and 9, like in the middle of the field. But
I got a question for you about that game.
Yeah.
You know, you see Jackson Dart be praised for his style, his swag, his confidence. Cam Scatterbull as well. And you see a quarterback up in Cleveland, which there's some microwave talk I got for that too, who displayed some of that same type of confidence, but he's seen as cocky, arrogant, all of those things. Do you think there's a racial component into covering players that allows certain players to get away with similar behaviors that other players can't?
In that situation, I'm going to say no. And the only reason I'm going to say no is because, like, I feel like with those guys, you know, let's not act like those two specifically, A, they're rookies, right? But B, they were like super accomplished players in college. Like Jackson Dart is almost like the modern day version, but more pro ready, of course, of like Aaron Murray, damn near. You know what I'm saying? Statistically, he did everything he could to win at Ole Miss. I mean, they won 10 games. They just kept losing that important game at the end of the season every year. And it left them out of the playoff picture. Like to me, Ole Miss was better than Tennessee last year. In my opinion. I thought that they were a better football team than them.
Yeah, like Nico left a lot on the bone.
Yeah, and now he's stepping it up, which I guess we'll get to college here soon. But but Jackson Dart was super talented, and then Cam Scatterbull damn near took over college football for one football game because of what he was doing to Texas. Right? Bro, it was a one-man show. He threw a 30-yard touchdown pass. He caught one. He ran like 2. That was a one-man show.
And if you go back and look at his high school history, like he was killing shit in high school, but he had to go to Sac State and then eventually got to Arizona State. I asked the question because I'm not making the accusation. You know, I do think it happens. Like, you know, Tom Brady can be Psycho Tom, but Terrell Owens can be Team Obliterator.
Yeah.
But both of them are just going crazy on the sidelines, and we allow it from some, we don't allow it to others. But I also think that's such an easy conversation to have to where we can race bait just for clicks. And even if it's part of the equation, this shit is way more nuanced than that. You know?
And that's why I said with them specifically, I'm like, no, but and then remember too, they also play in New York. So like there's that aspect of it too.
Because I was watching the Cleveland game Sunday, right? And remember I was talking to you about that. Mm-hmm. And the people I was around, they were, bro, Dylan Gabriel trash, bro. They gotta put Shedeur in, man. He can do this. Maybe. But how can you get a full evaluation of a rookie who you know is undersized? So he has to play a specific style. How do you expect to get a true evaluation of this guy if you don't instill confidence into him to go out there and play? And what if Shedeur isn't good on the board? What if Shedeur is a guy who doesn't do well in practice? What if he's a gamer? You know what I mean? And just does stuff in the game that allows him to play, but you're not going to see that until he gets in the game. What if he hasn't earned playing time yet? You know,
he might not be outworking him.
Or outperforming him. He could be outworking the hell out of him. But it may not be outperformance.
Yeah.
And if you got a guy who's performing at a high level and he can get his work in 4 hours, you're not going to ask him to stay at the facility for 6 hours.
You know, there's that. And then just think about it too, the antics. And I'm not trying to hone in on him for that, but three separate things that have happened within the last 3 weeks with him. One, the interview where he's not saying anything.
Yeah.
2, he gets interviewed in the fucking dealership, which was random. I mean, I guess I can't blame him. I'm like, well, why is the media interviewing this nigga in the? You saw that, right? He's like at a dealership, and he just got asked a question about Joe Flacco. Weird. And then 3, his brother is outside of the stadium, cosplaying him. It's just, I don't know. It's just bringing, and it's fun and all. I get it. It's cool. Like, it is hilarious, I guess, but like, it's not helping his case to get on the field, is what I'm saying.
It's a few things working against him, right? You have the fact that he is so famous and gets so many clicks that he gets way more media attention than somebody in his position should get.
Yeah.
So there's just more cameras in his face. But because there's more cameras in his face and he has more opportunities to make mistakes or do anything, he has to, in order to appeal to the people that he needs to appeal to, right? He has to carry it a certain way. And the way he carries it it contradicts his character, what he comes from, who he is. And part of that contradiction of him being unapologetically who he is creates more problems because people don't want their quarterbacks to act that way. And in order to act the way that Shedeur typically acts, you have to be really, really good and obviously better than everybody. And Shedeur hasn't proven that. He's been good, but he hasn't proven that he's so much better than the competition that you just have to put up with the stuff. And the bigger conversation should be, why do quarterbacks have to act a certain way or project a certain image? And that's a different question because Baker talked about it. Yeah, I used to be immature. Now I got a dog in me. I got a dog. I got that dog or whatever. Yeah. He's like, I'm the same guy. And so it just depends on what you're doing. And I think that's the bigger conversation around quarterbacks that unfortunately hurts Shedeur and needs to be louder in the Black community conversation when we're saying Shedeur is getting fucked over.
For sure. And I agree with you. And I think that, the biggest winner of the Shedeur conversations, who's the real big winner?
Jimmy Haslam.
No, Cam Ward. Because nobody's fucking talking about him still, and he's playing fucking terrible football, but nobody's even talking about it. The coach gets fired this week, and did he have enough time really to set his coach? He probably just wasn't a good coach, but like, did he have enough time to really set his culture? He's two years and 5 games in, and he got kind of dealt a shit hand himself in reality. A lack of talented football team, but nobody talks about Cam Ward because we do want to continue to talk about Shedeur, and now Jackson Dart too is the beneficiary, right? And maybe that'll come up towards the end of the season when we get a complete look at him and totality. What does the season look like from him to where then Cam Ward, it'll circle back to Cam Ward and they'll say Jackson Dart should have went number 1 or Shedeur had more promise.
Cam Ward's going to get saved by his coach getting fired, and everybody's already taking a shit on Tennessee because they hired a GM. He lost the GM won the war with Vrabel. He ended up firing Vrabel, and I want to say that GM
he got fired. Then he got fired.
And Vrabel's out here killing shit in New England. So they're gonna, and again, Vrabel's a media darling, deservedly so, but he's a media darling.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're going to shit on Tennessee, big up Vrabel, and give Cam Ward an out, which he probably deserves the out, but he's also not statistically playing good football. I don't watch them enough, and I've seen plays.
You don't want to. you don't want to. I mean, it took Arizona. Arizona had to do everything wrong to even give them the one win that they do have, and so I guess that I just look at it from that perspective that he's getting saved in a sense to where it kind of wraps into what you're talking about too when it comes to the quarterbacks, because that's my point. He's not really getting talked about at all in that negative of a light. And again, they had the number 1 pick for a reason, right? It was already a team that just wasn't good, but it's just interesting that nobody's even speaking about him in any manner.
Well, think about it, man. He wasn't talked about much going into the draft.
He's looking like Bryce Young. Like the same arc. I'm talking about the same arc in terms of Matt Rule got fired, 6-7 games into Bryce Young's rookie year.
Yeah.
Except he's on coach number 3. No, Matt Rule was not. No, Matt Rule wasn't there with him. It was Frank Reich. Yeah. Damn, Carolina done ran through a lot of shit recently. I'm just thinking about it. Like, whoa, man, they've had a lot of stuff going on there. I know that 3-3 for them feels like 6-0.
I mean, have they been 3-3 since Cam Newton left?
I don't think so. I can't recall a competitive Panthers team since 2015.
Fair enough.
Actually, they made the playoffs the year after our Super Bowl too, because remember, all 3 of us made it.
Yep.
So that was the last year, so 2017.
Anything else stick out to you last week? I mean, Dallas.
Off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. That was just notable, at least to talk about. Maybe, Green Bay kind of, I don't know, kind of almost blowing that game against the Bengals in a weird way. But aside from that, nothing too notable. Chargers getting back on track and moving the ball down the field to win the game against Tua. And then obviously Tua's comments after the game were pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Yo, they're cooked.
Dumpster fire. Yeah. That's why I said we get them next week. You win this game. Come on, you 5-2. I hate to look ahead like that. But you 5-2.
We gotta, like, everybody's gotta go.
And they might flex that Patriots Falcons game, because you can start flexing games by then. They might flex that Patriots Falcons game if we can win against San Francisco, and then you beat the Dolphins, because you'll have a really compelling match of Drake May and Michael Penix. Then we can really settle the score on who's the quarterback, right? Like, I'm just saying, if that's what they want, they could do it. They could flex that. I don't know what the Sunday night game is that week, but
what do you think it was like for Tua after he made those comments talking about there being a leadership issue and players not showing up for meetings and player only meetings and stuff like that? Airing out some stuff that probably shouldn't be aired out, but also exposing himself as a bad leader, not only because he's exposing it to the masses, but because it's showing that he does not have his fingers on that locker room in a way that he can drive the team in a positive direction.
Yeah, it felt like it was, for one, not something that you say, calling your guys out in the media after a tough last-minute loss at that. It's not like they got their ass whipped or something. Like, they lost in the last second. It was a game-winning field goal that they lost on. And to a team that's better than them, like, regardless of injuries on their end, the Chargers are a more talented football team than them. And so, not a good look, because you're not only calling out your teammates, you're kind of calling out the coach too. Really, is kind of what you did. You threw everybody under the bus, and this is during the same week in which you say 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Doesn't matter to me. My daughter is going to be happy to see me when I walk through the door. Like, that quote happened earlier that week, and so it's like, dude, you're giving us mixed signals. I would hate for him to be our quarterback, because that's the type of shit that gets a fan riled up and calling into 92.9 the game and just taking a dump on him and saying, let's just get his ass out of here now. Like, you know what I mean? And Tua always had kind of a sympathy type thing with them because of the concussions. And now things aren't going well, and it ain't because of concussions. And Miami's, they've just been through it with quarterbacks, right, since Dan Marino. And so it's just kind of like, fuck.
I think Tua,
that's not an attractive job, I don't think, anymore, even from the talent standpoint. They have pieces, but it's not really an attractive job. It's attractive because of Florida's no income tax, and then the idea that you'd be living in Miami. But outside of that, you're not in a division you want to be in anymore. But
it's also not an attractive job because of the style of football that works in Miami does not work in your division.
Well, right. And the thing is that because you just paid Tua, you kind of stuck with him maybe for a year or two, unless you take the Sean Payton route and say, fuck it, just cut him, man. We'll eat the cap. We got to get somebody else in here.
I mean, and Tua, he walked out there as if, nothing's gonna happen to him. You talk about 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Your daughter's gonna love you. Cool. Your daughter's not paying you $55 large a year. Then you throw your teammates and your coach under the bus, and it's like, hey, I'm good.
Well, and that's why he's got the cojones to do it, because he knows that. He knows that he's the only person on that team that is safe, no matter what. Nobody else is hamstrung to them like he is.
And I just think Tua should talk less. We used to never hear Tua talk, but he said the stuff about Cam Newton, and it's like, hey, Cam Newton was a number 1 overall pick. He's also a national champion, and he won a Heisman. You know what I mean? Like he won an
MVP. He played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like he was a better prospect than you, but he also was a better pro than you. Like, hey, big dog, relax. He did must be the money thing after he got paid last year.
Yeah.
Tua should probably talk less. Nick Saban was probably onto something by not letting him, talk to the media too much at Bama.
Yeah.
Sometimes the strict parent, everybody's like, oh man, so-and-so so strict on their child. I don't get it. Then you watch their kid and you go, oh, I get it.
All right.
Get it. But that's way too much talk about the Miami dumpster fire.
Well, real quick, just fun question, real quick, and then we can end it with that. What do you think of the idea of trading Kyler Murray for Tua straight up? What do you think of a deal like that?
I don't think anybody's happy about it. I mean, Kyler Murray, he's on the rack again, on the shelf, whatever you want to say. Tua, I don't want Tua on my roster. I don't want either of them on my roster. Bro, I don't like small quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't like small athletes. I
feel like they both, if you switch them out, they fit better with the rosters that they currently have. I think Tua would be a much better vertical passing threat with Marvin Harrison. Obviously, the running back situation there is going to have to eventually get cleaned up. But, it just seems like it fits him more to play there. And then Kyler, with his speed and his improvisation type skill, it probably would fit a faster Dolphins offense better.
And Kyler has an arm that can travel. Like Kyler can throw football. Like he doesn't have a noodle arm like Tua. But I just think this is a topic that does nothing for our show.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Anything else in the NFL that we care about?
No, I'm looking here at the prompt. We got everything there.
Anything we want to preview this week? We talked Falcons. We talked Falcons, 49ers. That's the only game I care about. I just want that get back sex because I love to see the 49ers lose. I root against Kyle Shanahan every time he takes a sideline to coach in the NFL, and he knows why. And there's also a little extra, something to this because I have a feeling that somebody who's very important to me is going to be wearing the wrong colors.
Mm-hmm.
And a Falcons win makes that much sweeter.
As it should. Just quick hits, and then we can move on. A couple of get-back sex games this week as well. Patriots-Titans, obviously, reeling after firing their coach, and then you do get the media darling that is Mike Vrabel to come back to Nashville. They will be in the six-pack later, guys. Don't worry. And I think everybody should know exactly where I'm going with this.
That's to cover.
Yeah. And so there's that. And then with the assumption that J.J. McCarthy's not playing, Carson Wentz gets his opportunity against an Eagles team that hasn't been playing well. They're at home. I'm just saying. I think people need to look out for that. He hasn't, because I had to look it up. He has not had a chance to play the Eagles, and you know how that ended.
Yeah.
Think about that last game.
It's fucking
Jalen Hurts and Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah, it's
right?
personal.
It was Nate Sudfeld, right? He was the other quarterback. Carson Wentz was in street clothes.
Yeah.
And he was a healthy scratch last game of the year. Aside from that, we got an interesting one in London. Rams-Jaguars will kind of have people up at 9:30. Well, hell, we will be up, I'm sure, here at the Casa watching it, I would imagine. Because you're staying Friday and Saturday, or are you staying, what are we doing?
Friday and Saturday.
Okay, good. So yeah, so I'm sure we'll all be up
Yeah.
in time to watch a little football in the morning.
Oh, I'll probably watch football with you Sunday, huh?
Yeah. Well, and then we got Falcons 49ers at night. I mean,
Yeah, I'll probably be staying Sunday night too then.
yeah. And then
Hey,
Bucks Lions will be really good on Monday night. Even though they're injured, that'll still be a good game. And then I think Texans Seahawks got some legs. I mean,
shout out to the Seahawks, man. Shout out to Mike McDonald. He's running a good organization up there. I root for them quietly.
Did you know Mike McDonald is from Georgia? He's a Georgia boy.
I didn't know that.
So he went to Centennial High School and he went to UGA.
Oh, shout out to him. Adrian went to Centennial.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you said that because he played with Flem there. Yeah. Yeah, he went to Centennial and he graduated from UGA. So, yeah, shout-outs to Mike McDonald being a true he's a damn good dog and a Georgia boy at heart, and we support those products here on this show.
Speaking of UGA, I was working on my UGA application today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you think of the process so far?
It's whatever. I mean,
was that what the rec was for?
No, that was for state.
Okay.
I got a month. I got a month for UGA.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got time on that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it real quick, and like state's the number one. But like, if I get into UGA, it's gonna be hard to say no.
No, you have to.
Yeah, you can't say no.
Yeah. Well, and you'd have a unique distinction of saying you're a UT and a UGA, and of course Morehouse. But like,
I can legitimize my UGA fandom, but also it's just one of the best media programs that you just kind of.
You'll be going to class and Ernie Johnson will come in to speak with guys. You know what I mean?
It's just 2 years living in Athens in my 30s.
Could be worse. You know what I'm saying? It could be worse. So I don't think Athens is that fucking bad. Like,
I don't think it is either.
Yeah.
It's just that time when the kid's there. It's like, hey, we're in a college town.
Well, there's that, but at that point, you become a UGA season ticket holder, more than likely.
Yeah.
Probably start to get in with some of the people there and start getting in bed with them, huh?
Yeah.
Like from the media side, I'm saying.
No, that's why UGA would be the play.
Yeah. I feel like it would be easier at state just because like nobody cares. Right. And it's in Atlanta, so that helps too. But like
Hugh Jackson's on the staff.
Yeah.
That'd be my guy.
But with Hugh talking about getting paid to lose games, he doesn't get how many people he has to ask his boys for the info now because Hugh Jackson will never work in the NFL again.
No, but Hugh can be a good recommendation.
Fair.
Like if for a group of coaches and or players, if it's like, oh nah, you good with Hugh? Hugh sent you my way. All right, nah, that's my nigga.
Right. Step right up. That's basically what it would be.
But you want to get into college?
Yeah, let's get into it. Because while I'm sitting here and we're looking at it, I was putting together my 6-pack for that. But
shout out to Kirby Smart, the biggest gaslighter in the SEC.
I like what Kirby's got going there, and I have for years, obviously, since we hired him. What are we clapping about?
That's what Kirby was doing.
Yeah. Well, and then he got up on the medical table.
Took his shirt off.
Yeah. I don't think we could ask for a better coach in the great state of Georgia. One day, and I'm glad Rod's been doing his job because we don't have to talk about Rod being on a hot seat. And I know Kirby wouldn't leave. I think Kirby is one of the few guys that could transition to the NFL. Because he would be more of a, even though he's a defensive guy, he would be more of a CEO coach, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, he would work in the schemes on defense, but, like, he would not be the defensive play caller.
No, I just would worry about his ability to build the right staff with enough time, just because he's not an NFL guy. He's not in NFL circles. Yeah, he has relationships.
He'd get Todd to be his OC. I mean, it would make sense, right? Like,
yeah.
And I mean, the personnel matters too. Who is his quarterback? Like, who are they drafting?
Who's going to be his GM? You know, he probably doesn't have his own GM that he can bring, who understands the style of football he wants to play. Yeah. But shout out to Georgia for beating Auburn. It was a nail biter, but good football. Shout out to my friends in Auburn who were afraid to gamble with me, but it's okay. It's okay.
Who was afraid to gamble?
You know, some questions don't need answers.
Okay, we'll leave it at just Auburn people. Yeah, James Franklin out the door after what, year 11 or 12 there?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty stupid. Go ahead.
It's kind of overdue. I mean, in reality, like, and I guess it's odd because last year's the first year they make the playoff. They're in the Final Four. And obviously he often is getting compared, at least on Twitter, like college football fan forums and debates type segues. He gets compared to Mark Richt. And somebody actually made a really good point that if there were 14 playoffs when Mark Richt was at UGA, Mark Richt would have made a lot of those in reality. During that BCS era, they would have been the 3 or the 4 team a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I don't even think it's fair to even compare Mark Richt anymore. Yes, it's similar in totality in terms of, like, they took those programs as far as they could. But, like, I don't even think it is fair because with James Franklin, it took him until it was a 12-team playoff to make it to the playoffs. They never beat any top 10 teams. Oh, which was another thing. Mark Richt beat top 10 teams. Like, he didn't always lose to them.
Yeah, but but you're getting into the details. It's a fair comparison because it's guys who are doing well at a top program, but they're regularly underachieving. And
that's a fair way to look at it. I just guess I don't know. I didn't think it was fair, but I thought it was fair that he got fired. I think that that's inexcusable losing. The Oregon loss, obviously, I think everybody was disappointed because it's just like, damn, same old James Franklin. Then you play UCLA, who I can't think that there was a worse looking Power 5 team before that game, honestly. You get pieced up by them. Then Northwestern comes into your house and houses you. And you're out here tweeting, you know, go Penn State and stuff like that, as opposed to just getting your guys ready for the game. And then Drew Allard, who many coming into the season thought was a first-round pick, most likely may need to – I don't even know if – we'll see how his knee holds up, but he might need to fucking come back next year and play for somebody else so that he can get his stock up, because at this point, why would I think that he wouldn't just fall and be like how Quinn Ewers was a 7th-round pick at this point? So – kind of fucked up his career a little bit. Penn State, I think, can still obviously become something in the future here. It's not like the program is just going to be devoid of talent, but like, wow.
So here's where I just don't think it was a great decision. I understand wanting to get off of James Franklin. I understand these 3 straight losses are inexcusable, and you got to do something. But what is Penn State football? Like, what is that football operation?
Second-tier Big Ten school.
Okay, exactly.
I mean,
what have they been consistently under James Franklin?
A second-tier Big Ten school.
I would say they've been
I tell you what, the bottom of the first tier. Then
exactly, they've been at the bottom of the first tier. They have been who they are. They've been the best version of. They've been one of the best versions of what Penn State can be. They haven't won a natty, but when's the last time they won a natty?
And people, yeah, which is true, because people overrate the idea that Joe Pa, because of how long he was there, they kind of confuse that he only won one national championship there. He didn't win. Same thing with a guy like Bobby Bowden. Bobby
Yeah.
Bowden didn't win a ton of fucking national championships at Florida State. They were
No.
consistently 10-win, 11-win program, always in the Orange Bowl and stuff
No.
like that. But these guys weren't winning national championships. Nick Saban is the only motherfucker that really does set this precedent of, now you need to fucking be winning that shit every year. Like,
so, and my point exactly, and this is why you get into your microwave society and people having these expectations that aren't really aligned with who they are and what their program is. James Franklin has had Penn State running like a well-oiled machine, a 10-win program, playing in top bowls, putting players in the NFL, having number 1 picks, number 2 picks, Pro Bowlers, all of that stuff, packing out Happy Valley on Saturday nights, whiteouts, all of this stuff. That's what he's been doing.
all right.
And in the old days with Joe Pa, you allow him to continue doing that until he wins a natty. In the old days with Bobby Bowden, you allow him to do that, then he wins his natty. In the old days with Steve Spurrier, you allow him to do that, he gets you some championships. You know what I mean? I'm not upset with you saying, hey, it's been 12 years, this isn't working. But to fire him in the middle of the season when he finally made the playoffs, when he gave you a top 4 finish, coming off of his best year. Yes, I understand that coming off of the best year to go into one of his worst seasons. But remember who you were when you got him. Remember the ship that he righted. You know what I mean? Like, he had to clean the program up after all the Sandusky stuff. Your boy Bill O'Brien, he was there and gone in a hot second. And I'm not saying that you owe him the job because he brought you up. No. Because you paid him for that.
Right. And that's the point. He's getting $50 million. So, I mean.
Yeah, but you saw some stipulations in that shit. But at the same time, you're not Ohio State. Like, the shit that you said about Saban, that's not normal.
Yeah.
You win one, you should get to hang out for 4 or 5 years unless it's a like back-to-back years of dumpster fire.
Unless you're Coach O, is what you're saying.
Yes. But
where you got this generational class of guys that won.
Right. And maybe he lost the locker room and it's like, hey, we got to get off of this guy. And the earlier we get off of him, the sooner we can get a new guy in here. And now that so we can save our recruits. Cool. Probably that's why you end up making the move. But that also goes to college football and regulating the schedule. We've got to regulate the schedule so that you don't have to fire your coach in the middle of the season simply because you don't want to have a recruiting disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like, there should be a dead period.
And I think that with that, to me, unless they can get Urban Meyer, for instance, if that's who they're going to target, unless they can get somebody who's not currently working, one way or another, they're not gonna, and I guess they'll get to, the AD's gonna get to look at everything and examine it and look at, well, who does this guy that we want to hire from said school have coming there? Because we know that he'll get them to flip to state for the most part. Our thought is that he'll be able to get them to flip. So what does it look like? They're basically already recruiting for Penn State in a weird way, right? Like, kind of, because that's what guys do. They bring their guys with them. Cignetti in Indiana, when he got the job there, he took everybody that played for him at James Madison, and they all basically went to fucking Indiana. And so, like, I can see something similar here, which obviously Matt Rule, now me knowing the connection, and then after seeing that interview, he never once said he said that he was the coach at Nebraska, which he wasn't lying, he is. He said he loved Penn State. He met his wife there. He played there. Matt Rule is going to be the next head coach of Penn State if it's not Urban Meyer. It's going to be Matt Rule is going to lead Nebraska to go to Penn State.
Is Jimmy Sexton Matt Rule's agent?
And I think that in a weird way, that was a wink, wink. That was a blink your eyes if you're ready to come. Maybe that's what she said.
Okay,
but
not have a public agent because a lot of these deals it's Jimmy Sexton negotiating against Jimmy Sexton.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, so he gets to tell you he gets to work the clients for the clients.
And turn it into a bidding war against two of his guys.
Exactly. That shit should be illegal, by the way.
It's a part of the game.
But who do you think is a fair? What candidates do you think are legitimate, or who do you think they should go after?
I think Matt Rule's who they're going to go after. I really do. I think that's exactly who they want. If they should go after Herb. If Herb wants to coach, because now the rumor was, I think I sent it to you, was that Herb apparently did want the Penn State job when it did open up initially. That was something he was interested in.
Okay.
And that they didn't give it to him because they gave it to Bill O'Brien. And so, or maybe it was James Franklin, one of the two. I think it was Bill O'Brien. Because this is like him when he was getting off the couch to go to Ohio State, which he eventually does. And that they didn't, I don't even think the way that it sounded was like as if they didn't even contact him type of shit. So I don't know if he has the itch to coach. Herb he looks like he's pretty comfortable on that Fox set. And maybe he's a Bill Cowher, right? Like, think about it. For years, people used to be like, man, Bill Cowher going to come back out. Bill Cowher hasn't had any fucking desire to coach in the NFL anymore.
I don't think that's Herb.
I think Herb wants to, but see, and then the rumor that I sent you to is just a rumor. They said that the people at Florida met and that Napier is going to be as good as fired after this week. So if that comes true, does Florida circle those wheels back? Like, come on, Herb. Like, because they'll pay him. They're going to give him what he wants.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, does Herb want to go back to Gainesville?
The real question is, does his wife want to go back to Gainesville? It's a lot of dead bodies down there.
Yeah.
And he's going to get a steakhouse in the deal.
Steakhouse. He'll get everything that any other coach has gotten since he's left the game, he gets. So just like Link's got the jet, he gets a jet. You know what I mean? Like
Herbs.
He damn near becomes the AD himself. If we're being real, he becomes the fucking AD.
Herb's Tap Room.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Myers Bar and Grill.
Heavy on the grill.
Yeah. And it'll be scantily dressed women that are college students. And there will be pictures, nothing but pictures of Herb with his staff taking pictures, looking boozed up and shit.
Hey, dude, you think Cignetti goes entertains Penn State? Or if you were Cignetti, would you entertain Penn State?
If the check is just right, you have to, right? Like, I mean, and I know that sometimes it's not just about money, but like, if the check's there, I don't see why you wouldn't, because it is technically a better school. But at the same time, I think you brought this up earlier this week when we kind of spoke about it a little bit. There's no pressure on him in Indiana. He practically has probably got, below Kirby Smart, he's got the next best job security in college football right now.
And he's making
Indiana will do everything in their power to make sure he doesn't leave. So if that means you get to be the coach for life, you get to be the coach for. They're not even going to. Well, they actually have a chance to win this year, but like he hasn't even won anything yet. He just took them to the playoffs, but like he hadn't won anything, and he's going to have that type of job security already there. So,
and he's making $8 million.
Yeah, right. They extended him after last year. Even though it was his first year, they were like, you know what? We didn't do that contract right. Come here. And then niggas ripped it up and they're like, let's add more to it.
Hey, did you see Kirby's buyout?
That's like $100 million.
Yes.
Well, that's just it. They're not getting rid of him. I think that's them showing him like, it's like, we guarantee you're going to be here because you're going to earn everything that we're giving you because we don't have any, we're not getting rid of you.
Yeah, but
and Kirby loves that institution enough to not, even when if things start to get rougher, he's not going to full on. Like, I'm not saying James Franklin full on tanked. I'm not saying that, but like, come on, man. That loss to Northwestern.
James Franklin doesn't have to show his face in Happy Valley again. Kirby will always be tied to Athens, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. He cares enough to where he would never, even if he knew he could get paid a lot to not do anything, he wouldn't do that to the school.
Exactly. So yeah, I was just, I think it's a good thing, a point that you brought up that you stole from me from our private conversations that I was hoping you were gonna like throw to me to make on here. That's what I was hoping, so I could talk about how I think Cignetti should stay in Indiana because I think the goal should be of coaching should be going somewhere where you can win games and compete for a championship. It's not always going to the best program, having the best facilities. It's going somewhere where you can build your culture that works. And I think the players that he has at Indiana, he can't necessarily recruit at Penn State and be okay and have a down season. Because he had a piece talking about how he doesn't really want stars. They have a different path. He wants guys who he can get in and develop. He doesn't necessarily want 5-star talents because there's another thing that goes into dealing with them that is more difficult. And he's old school.
And he comes from that Saban tree. And look at their quarterback, Mendoza. They got him from Cal. This was a dude that was playing at Cal the last 4 years. He comes in and now he's at the top of people's draft boards, right? So I think that he's able to sell his program even better with shit like that too. As opposed to Penn State, it's we are Penn State.
Yeah.
But with Indiana, it's like, yeah, it's the Hoosier Nation. Them people are still going to care more about basketball. As crazy as that sounds, they're going to still care more about basketball because it's a basketball school. But at the same time, if he can carve out this thing where you're showing, hey, if you come here, look at this. I took a guy that went to Cal. He got his degree from Berkeley. He came here for that 5th year. Had no intentions of I'm sure he wanted to maybe play in the pros, but he wasn't on anybody's radar. Now we're talking about this dude's going to get his rookie contract going to be $45 million. And if he hits after 4 years in the league, he's going to be a $200 million quarterback. So that's an easy way to sell a program to anyone. It doesn't matter where you're at. And then I'm sure in Bloomington, ain't but so much trouble you can get into. You get to be the king of campus still, but you're not going to get – it's not like Athens, right? It's not like any school that's even relatively close to any type of city. You can kind of –
it might be close to Indianapolis.
Let's see. Bloomington to Indy.
I said that people go to Indianapolis to have fun.
Mark Sanchez does. What? He was drunk.
Yeah, he was attacked by those hoodlums out there in Indianapolis.
All right, so Bloomington is I guess okay, yeah, it's about as close as I didn't realize it was this close. It's 52 miles. So it's about Georgia to Atlanta.
Yeah.
But again, nobody's going to Indianapolis to hang out unless you're Mark Sanchez getting ready to call a game. He's the type of guy that goes out and gets drunk as fuck in Indy.
Do we care about USC? No, we don't care about USC shellacking fucking Michigan.
We weren't really surprised by that anyways.
I just don't think we cared enough about it to pay attention to it. You want to talk some NBA now?
Yeah, let's get into some quick previews of the NBA season that starts Tuesday. Isn't this the best time of year?
Yeah, man.
We're getting into the groove of football season. Basketball starting back up, which we won't care about again until Christmas / the NBA Cup. And then we won't again not care about till All-Star break. And then we won't care again until May. Because that's kind of just how basketball season works.
No, we'll care trade deadline, then we'll care All-Star break, then we'll care in May. You and I will care every week because after February, we talk about it every week.
Yeah, there's that. And then you want to be in a fantasy basketball league?
If you need one, yeah.
Joe wants I won the league last year, but like he's putting it back together. He's got like 8 people, but he really wants to get it to 10 or 12.
Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah.
Great
for betting purposes too. Just throwing that out there.
Fair, but we got some NBA stuff going on. You want to start East Conference, West Conference? Just any thought?
Well, I think we have to start West just because of the recent news and all the pub that King James has been getting. Whether that be with his glute, his nerve glute injury, him being on his wife's podcast with Kai Cenat and some other dude that does like streaming or something, and them talking about bitches and that whole nine. We have to start off with the West, and we have to start off with the Lakers. And fit Luka, is he ready to handle the team for the first 3 months of the year?
I'm not worried about Luka being ready to handle the team. I'm not worried about the team being a playoff team. I just am concerned about LeBron not building chemistry with Luka and all the new pieces. That's my concern.
Right.
Because that LeBron, Luka, I feel like if you are a corner guy, you need time playing with them to understand what it looks like. And you're not going to get a lot of that in practice.
Right.
Because if LeBron and Luka practice, for real, who in the second team is stopping them?
Nobody. But wasn't it eye-opening? Did you hear Aiden's quote like a week ago? He was like he hadn't gotten any time on the court with LeBron or Luka, like at all. Which didn't sound true because I'm like, y'all didn't practice at all. Like, even though like y'all didn't play, like nothing.
Luka was doing Eurobasket.
And LeBron was golfing.
Yeah.
And setting up, Hennessy deals. If you let Steve tell it.
We'll get to him later. Are we gonna have like a weekly Steve segment? Are we giving Steve what he wants by responding to his nonsense?
Yes and no. I mean, you haven't posted any Steve clips.
No.
Yeah, so us talking about it, I don't think we're giving into it. But it is a part of the media, and he's an interesting guy to talk about because of his takes.
Yeah, so, and we want to be the counter. We want to be the balance.
And he the number one guy in the industry?
Depends on who you ask.
He is at the 4-letter network, and that's the number one network. I mean, Colin Cowherd, I think, probably is a more powerful name in media. So is Bill Simmons, but which we'll get to him later. Ringing in that dough,
bro. And the crazy thing, though, Steve was the latest superstar to starting his own thing
with his the Stephen A. Smith show or whatever. Yeah.
Like, I mean, will we take this show to Stephen A.'s network if he was interested?
Absolutely, because we want to get our foot in the door. So yeah, I would. But if it was a bidding, if there was other interest, you still hear them out. But the reality is, it wouldn't be ideal because I don't think we fit his type of media. But he's not. It's not to do this color shit, but he is black, so that kind of is something that you think about. I'm sure that on Shark Tank, depending on what it was, if it didn't matter what industry, there are a lot of black people that wanted to work with Daymond Johns. I would personally want to work with Mark Cuban because I know he's the most paid up there. But and then I might get invited to Mavericks games and shit. So I would want to work with Mark Cuban. But there are people that maybe wanted to work with Daymond Johns because he was a black entrepreneur, and if it's a black company, he's gonna know more of that barrier you got to break and be able to get you into the right people that are gonna help with that, right?
I think for us to be most comfortable, the conversations would have to be, I'm not trying to change y'all, and I understand who I portray myself as, and I understand your criticisms of me come from that. not you genuinely knowing me.
Right.
That would be one thing to start, because I've said some disparaging things about Steve and the way he carries himself publicly, and I meant those things.
Yeah. And I don't think he liked the idea that we give Whitlock any type of praise. We criticize Whitlock.
Yeah,
but
that's the
we
thing.
give him praise that he does deserve, because he does say some shit that's real.
Right. And
Steve wouldn't sign us because we kind of co-sign, like, you know what? The Whitlock story about college basketball makes an ass ton of sense. Like,
but even like with the Steve stuff we're going to talk about in a little bit, I'm going to give Steve his kudos. But let's get back to these Lakers. Yeah, LeBron's not playing. I think it's a stab at the Lakers in the NBA because LeBron's not happy.
I think so too. And I didn't even realize, gosh, we got 20 minutes. 19.
Oh, so let's push.
So yeah, we'll push through. Spurs, legit. Is that a playoff team this year, you think? I mean, Wemby's a top 5 player according to every media outlet. Is that going to be a playoff team? And if so, where do you kind of see them being? Are they play-in or are they 6 seed, 5 seed type? Because I don't think we think that they're a top 4 team. So
no, I don't know what they are, because I haven't seen Wemby play a full season.
Yeah.
Dylan Harper hasn't played in the NBA. Swiper hasn't played a lot with Wemby. We got to figure out
the coach too.
Yeah, you got to figure out. You got a new.
Who's got his first full season as an NBA coach? Like,
there's a lot to figure out over there. So play in-ish. You know,
not an overreaction that all 3 teams in Texas make the playoffs, though, right? Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, they're all in.
Probably. I don't know. The West is so competitive because you got to think about OKC. You got to think about
which is still the team to beat.
You got Minnesota. You got 4 teams in California.
Minnesota lost, though. Alexander Walker's obviously a Hawk. When we'll get to the East, we'll talk plenty about the Hawks. But they lost, but they didn't really add anyone.
Yeah, but the core kind of remains the same. You expect Rob Dillingham to step up, and you got Bones Highland there too. You've got some different pieces that can add some different dynamics to that team to help them out. But you got the 4 California teams: Lakers, Clippers, the Warriors. They're going to be one of the best half-court teams in the league. Half-court. And then the Kings, they've got a lot of guys that can score 20 points every night.
Well, they got Brody now.
They got Brody. They got Monk. They got Dennis Schroeder. They got Zach LaVine. They got Sabonis. They got Debo, bro. Like, they got a lot of people.
We got a healthy Zion Williamson in New Orleans, too, by the way.
And Jordan
Skinny
Poole.
Zion. Looks like Zion at Duke.
And Jordan Poole.
That's not going to be an interesting League Pass team, is it?
I don't know. It can be if Jordan Poole is making shots and Zion is dunking shit.
Not an overreaction. Memphis
cooked.
Yeah, I think not a playoff team.
Barbecue.
Yeah, not a playoff team. Yeah, that's pretty much it in the West. I think that, so if I have to just give a prediction right now, I actually kind of like the idea of it being between these 4 teams in the end. I don't think OKC repeats as good as they were. It's so hard to do what they did and do it like that again. I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think it comes down to Clippers, Lakers, Warriors. I'm going to still throw Denver in there. I kind of liked them getting what's his face to replace Michael Porter.
Oh, yeah.
Cam Johnson.
Yeah,
I kind of like that fit a little bit more. So, and now with not Mike Malone, who's the damn coach? Adelman's son. With him being the guy there, I liked what he kind of did at the end of the year. And I feel like as a younger coach, I don't know, it seemed like there was just more belief in him. There, of course, is going to come down to, can Jamal Murray, stay healthy? And then is Cam Johnson going to give them more than what they were getting out of Michael Porter? And I think the answer is going to be yes. So
Yeah, so if I did 4 teams, I would go Denver. I go Minnesota.
Shit, Houston though. Fuck.
I go Denver, Minnesota, OKC, and then the other teams. I don't know.
No Clippers.
They're old.
I know, but gosh,
They got that dark cloud over them right now too. I don't know. I don't like that. The Lakers.
it's so complete.
The Lakers. I just don't know. Houston may be really good, but they may not be that good because they're super young and they haven't played a lot of important basketball. I think they're going to be good. It's not a prediction. So it's just a lot up in the air for me. But let's get to the East. The sleepers of the East for me are the Hawks.
Hell yeah.
I think the
Hawks will be a 50-win team.
Yeah, I think we're going to compete for a top 3 seed, and we're not going to be taken seriously because I'm already hearing it. Detroit, Orlando, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But I'm looking forward to the East because I think it's going to be interesting.
There's no favorite. I mean, I guess Cleveland is kind of looked at as that, but and that's mainly because they have everything intact and they were the 1 seed last year. But I don't know if they've got enough to push through. Evan Mobley really would have to be a better player this year. Like, he's going to have to be a 20-10 dude for me to put them in that category.
Like 22, 23.
Yeah, he's going to have to be all-NBA second team or better, in my opinion, for them to really be the team.
I think Darius is going to have to be the third option. Like, he's going to have, Evan Mobley's going to have to play so well that Darius Garland becomes the de facto third option because he's killing.
Well, and then remember, too, they got DeAndre Hunter from us, who was having his best year as a Hawk. And in hindsight, great trade by the Hawks, honestly. I hated that it felt like they didn't get a lot for him, but, I like what the Hawks did. They did the right thing by moving him already and getting that money off the books.
Hey, they got Lonzo Ball, too, playing backup point guard.
Solid get if he can stay healthy. Solid get. How about Toronto being maybe the best league pass team in the East?
They're gonna be frisky. They got
so much talent. They got a lot of talent.
Quickly, BI,
healthy BI. That's an all-star player. He's he's certainly a fringe all-star player. Like
RJ,
Jakob Poeltl.
They got somebody else up there too.
Grady Dick in year 2.
They say he's grown 2 inches.
Yeah, I saw that Dick grew. Yeah, I saw that. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Not much to expect out of Indiana and Boston, right? I mean,
I think Boston's going to be interesting.
I don't like Anthony Simons there. I mean, that's just me. I think
Jalen averages 30.
So I was talking to Joe about this when we were talking about fantasy basketball. I see more of Derek White not being he's not going to be a 30 dude, but I could see Derek White being an all-star this year.
Oh, so you're one of those people who have him at the top 30 player in the league.
I could see him being an all-star this year. Yeah. I think that because he's going to take on more, and I feel like he will do more. So
I think he operates way closer to his ceiling on a regular basis than people think. And
he's a really good 3-point shooter. He's a great defender.
He's going to get way more attention. Jason Tatum's not on the court.
That's true too, but Jaylen Brown still is the alpha on the court, though.
Yeah, but Jaylen Brown is going to put his head down and go right.
Their issue is going to be that they don't have the depth. I mean, they lost Horford and they lost Porzingis, so and obviously no Tatum. So it's I just think and Drew Holiday's gone too. I don't know.
I'm not talking about wins. I just think Jaylen Brown is going to just have the ball in his hands. He's going to score 30 a night. I think Benedict Mathurin's playing for a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not trying to win. A lot of FGAs.
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on Brooklyn and the Michael Porter Cam Thomas experience?
Much ado about nothing. I think you talking about Jaylen Brown. I think Michael Porter gets to be one of those guys that comes out and he's not going to average 30 just because he's not efficient enough. But with it being his team, I could see a 24-7 and like 4 type stat line. I can see that.
Or what?
Assists.
No.
Well, with Cam Thomas on the floor, somebody's got to play make, man. And I feel like he will be more point forward-ish. Not at all. You don't think at all?
No, he's not.
I know he doesn't really have anyone to pass it to, but still.
He's not into passing the ball.
Well, then let's make it 24-9 then. He's got to get close to almost a double-double.
Yeah, him and Cam Thomas just gonna be alternating ISOs. Joe Sauer, he said, what we're trying to do this year. Y'all know what we're trying to do.
Charlotte.
Are the Knicks championship or bust? Are they honestly championship or bust?
It kind of feels like it this year. This year specifically.
But do you think that they've rushed the championship or bust, like by them firing Tibbs? Because they were slowly building to getting better, adding a piece here. This is gonna be their first full season with Cat, Mikal Bridges. You know what I mean? Like the firing of the coach triggers, hey, we need to win it all this year, or at least get to the finals. But if they don't, I think they can keep this team intact. I don't think they need to shake up the core if they don't make the finals.
See, I thought that it was more of a stylistic approach more than anything, because he's running those guys into the ground, and that's a concern too, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no offensive creativity.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like that was more of why he was fired, but
that's not the narrative.
But you don't know what the real issue is? Did they really upgrade? And that's where I find the issue with the Knicks. I like Mike Brown, but is he an upgrade? I don't think he's an upgrade.
I don't think they need to upgrade. I just think they need a change of style. Because take out social pressure. The top Android and the top iPhone, there's not really a difference, but there are some differences, right? And for some things, it's better to have an iPhone.
Right.
Other things Android is going to be better for you. I don't know what those things are because I don't do Androids.
Right.
But sometimes you just change over to that Android, and you're not changing over because you're really upgrading your phone. You're not getting like the iPhone 17. No, you're getting this Droid, Galaxy, whatever, because you just need some of these features that it has that your iPhone doesn't have. The iPhone may be a better phone, but you need these features. And I think that's what they need. They need it from a coach, somebody who's going to change the way that they play basketball so that when the game got tight, it's not just Jalen Brunson beat the piss out of the ball at the top of the key for 22 seconds and then take a sidestep three.
That's fair. And then just one more team, because I guess, we got to get ready to hurry up here. Philadelphia, what are they?
Injured and bad.
Playoffs?
Maybe.
So not podcast P, playoff P.
I mean, if they're healthy, yeah.
Yeah, but Embiid's already.
Well, I'm just saying, even with
he's already damn near. He's out indefinitely.
I'm saying if everybody else is healthy, I still think if Paul George comes back, it can average 22.
PG and Maxey, you think that they can carry him to 500 until Embiid's back?
Yeah, because that's damn near 50 points from two people.
And then they got Edgecombe too.
Yeah, McCann.
But they lost Yabusele because he's in New York. Good pickup, Knicks. I don't know.
But what else we got? How much time we got left?
6 minutes.
Let's go to the picks.
All right, hold on 1 second while we do that. You could fill with Stephen A, though, real quick.
All right, so while we're waiting to get to the picks, I'll do a little filling with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is under fire for his back and forth with Jasmine Crockett, and I don't want to get into the details of it. Here's what I want to say. Be careful who you listen to. Follow their contracts. Follow the things that they say. Stephen A. Smith is a very hardworking broadcaster. And being a very hardworking broadcaster, he speaks on a lot of topics. There's not enough time in the day to have a real understanding of that many topics when you're speaking day to day and you're doing a day to day type of broadcasting. So, not to say that Stephen A is uninformed, but understand that there can be a lack of depth on certain topics. So, consume that shit. Consume that shit with caution. But the bigger picture thing I want to talk about is his conversation around Jasmine Crockett and people calling it somewhat Tom Coonish behavior and all of this stuff. Jasmine Crockett handles herself in a way that is uncomfortable for me, honestly. I don't like it. I don't get out here and say she should carry herself with more class and she should act like this. No. But I can say that she comes off as an authentic Black woman, and it feeds into stereotypes that some people resonate with. I do resonate with those, but they're also off-putting for a crowd of people. And I think that Stephen A, and a big thing that he talks about is, hey, dog, don't be up here in these white people's face, making them uncomfortable. If you're truly trying to work with them and get things done, meet them where they are. You can disagree with that approach. I don't buy into it to the depth that he does. I'm also not as successful. But I think there's a balance between being authentically who you are, but also presenting yourself in a manner that the people who you're trying to relate to and have communication, effective communication with, will be open to receiving you. And if you are carrying yourself in a way that's so authentically you that it's off-putting to people that you want to and need to relate to or communicate with, then you should adjust that. And I think that's what Stephen A was going towards. But you let me know when you're ready.
I am ready to go. Very well put, by the way.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Parlay Peas College Football
666. All right, we're going to take Morehouse on the money line for homecoming, guys. There's no odds for that. That's kind of a joke, but we are going to take the home team to win. Nonetheless, let's start off with the hometown team. Georgia Tech at Duke. I like Georgia Tech on the money line. They're even money. I don't know why they're dogs against Duke. Georgia Tech money line. Next, we got Memphis at UAB. Just fired Dilfer. Let's get Memphis by 1 million. Minus 20.5 for Memphis. Next, we got LSU at Vanderbilt. Low over under 46.5. I like the over. Next, Old Dominion at James Madison. James Madison, Signetti Lee's still humming. Let's get James Madison on the money line. Then next, we got Florida State at Stanford. We're going to take Florida State 16.5. I like a little bounce back here. And then finally, Ole Miss at Georgia. I like Ole Miss plus 7.5.
What'd you have Florida State at?
16.5 at Stanford.
16.5, and you like Ole Miss at 9.5?
Plus 7.5.
Excuse me. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Isn't that kind of high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Tech on the money line, Memphis minus 20.5, LSU at Vandy over 46.5, JMU on the money line, Florida State minus 16.5, Ole Miss plus 7.5.
There you go.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Parlay Peas NFL 6. Apologize real quick. I'm fighting off hiccups.
All good. We could hear it all throughout. But nonetheless, let's get started. So we got the Patriots at the Titans. We talked about this earlier. Hammer. Patriots minus 6.5 at the Titans. Next, we got the Eagles at the Minnesota Vikings. I like over 43.5. Odd number. Next, we got Falcons at 49ers. As well as the defenses have been playing, I'm going to take the over here. I think that we see points in that game as well. Over 46.5. Next, we got the Detroit Lions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. We're going to take the Detroit Lions minus 5.5. Then next, we got the Giants at the Broncos. I like under 40.5. And then finally, The Rock has come back to Los Angeles. We're going to take the Colts in the upset at the Chargers on the money line.
All right. So we got Pats minus 6.5. Eagles at Vikings over 43.5. Falcons at Niners over 46.5. Excuse me. Lions minus 5.5. What's the next one?
Giants at Broncos under 40.5.
Giants at Broncos under 40.5. And we got the Colts on the money line.
That is correct.
You like it? I love it.
And when you love it, that means it's time for
Lee's
3.
Lee's
3. Lee's 3.
Lee's 3.
Lee's 3.
All right, so for Lee's 3, oh God,
Wow.
give me the Ole Miss plus 7.5. Give me the Pats minus 6.5, and give me that Giants at Denver under 40.5.
Yeah.
How much time?
We went over, but that's
Shit.
okay. There's nothing wrong with the little extra innings, a little overtime.
All right, man. Great show, Parlay Pete.
Hey, as always. I guess we'll get ready to start to get to planning for our homecoming. We didn't get to get on that topic either, but that's okay. I think we showed enough school pride here, right?
Absolutely. We'll have a great recap for you when we come back next week.
There you go.
All right, Doc.
All right, brother. I'll catch you.